I got to give my take on this Shakur versus De Los Santos fight. A lot of people are saying that Shakur had a bad night. He had a bad performance. I don't think people really give credit to De Los Santos in the fact that you can't have a good performance when you're fighting a good fighter like that. You can't expect to have a good performance when you're fighting someone who is designed to beat you. Because Shakur in his last few fights has been staying in the pocket, you know, um, just getting out of the way of some punches, but not to a way where you can see it as running. He's been in the pocket, trading, still blocking, parrying punches, and coming right back. But against a De Los Santos, you couldn't do that. Not with that level of power. With the way everybody was saying that he was cracking, you can't expect Shakur to stand in the paint with that unless you want him to just get knocked out. Shakur did what he was supposed to do in that fight. What he did in that fight is what he was supposed to do. Anything other than that, he was going to get his ass knocked out. I put my money on De Los Santos in the fact that maybe Shakur would try to please the crowd and get in the paint a little bit and get painted. That's what I was putting my money on because De Los Santos had that explosive power. He has that great first step to close the distance. And my problem was not with Shakur this fight like everybody else wants to put a blame. My problem was De Los Santos. De Los Santos is the underdog. De Los Santos was the one that was 1,000-to-1 underdog coming in. You got nothing to lose. You got a quick first step. In my opinion, he's more athletic than Shakur. So he closed the distance with his double jab to the body after he realized that a double jab to the head was not going to be there. So he was thinking and making that adjustment. But the adjustments stopped there. You got to be able to realize, okay, when I'm double jabbing and going to the body after I figured out the head wasn't working, this man is steady going back, steady going back. I'm going to get him in a position where when he goes back, he's going to go against the ropes, and then I'm going to go off and let off on him for as much as I can before he grabs me, which is what he did. De Los Santos, there was a point in the fight, I got to rewatch it, where he hits him with a tough body shot, and I think it was maybe the first time that De Los Santos really threw his brick hand and landed on Shakur's body, and Shakur kind of panicked. He dipped, panicked, and just grabbed De Los Santos. After he did that, instead of De Los Santos to continue to engage and make him uncomfortable, De Los Santos decided he wants to do some kind of showboating, bouncing around. He was doing too much of that little showboating stuff for me. Like, this is a viable opponent. This is the best opponent of your career. This is how you can change your life. You're in there showboating, and you don't have the fight won. I mean, that's like a football player down 4 touchdowns celebrating. What are you doing? Stick to business. Stay focused. De Los Santos was not focused that fight. He got frustrated, which is exactly what Shakur wanted him to do. Shakur saying that he had a bad performance, don't congratulate me on that, and this, and that. If Shakur was to get a rematch with De Los Santos, he's going to fight the exact same way. Anything other than that gets his ass knocked out. So I'm not putting no blame on Shakur. The blame goes to De Los Santos for not realizing that after you've backed him up, his adjustment to that was to circle. He started to circle, and when he was circling to his left every time, circling to his left. If De Los Santos was thinking, him in his corner, cut that left off. Cut the left off, have him circle to his right. Make him do something that he's not already doing. Make him uncomfortable. Bring the fight to him. Because you can't tell me that it was such of a bad fight and he won. If Shakur was running, he would have lost. You don't win a boxing fight by running. You don't. If De Los Santos was continuing to apply that pressure, he would have actually won because the judges would have seen that he was throwing punches. The judges would have seen that he was controlling the ring. He was the ring general in there. And Shakur was just really running for his life. They're not going to give that fight to Shakur. But if you don't do anything your damn self, and Shakur is the one that's actually hitting you with that jab, and then at certain points later on in the round, he was actually walking you down, hitting you with certain combinations. It didn't last long, but he did it enough to steal the rounds. They have to give it to Shakur. You didn't do anything to take the fight. And it was a lot of fear going on in that ring. Shakur, his fear was rightfully so because De Los Santos, his nickname is not La Granada for nothing. So Shakur had to be really cautious with how he went about attacking that fight because the main thing is the main thing. Nigga, fuck the crowd. You got to get the W. He always refers back to Floyd when he's talking about himself. It's obvious that he models his career after Floyd, and Floyd will do that. But of course that was later on in his career, to like just basically go in there knowing that this guy, he has physical advantages. Let me just get out of here with the dub. But the fear on De Los Santos' side was he didn't want to look stupid, number one, and which he ended up doing sometimes in the fight when he was like, jumping in and throwing wild punches and hitting nothing but rope. He didn't want to waste his energy trying to chase Shakur and not being able to catch him, and they get worn out to the point where he starts to get beat up late in the rounds, and it just looks like total domination. So he was trying to preserve his energy. But the frustration kicked in, and that's what led to the unnecessary showboating, and that's what led to him ultimately waiting for Shakur, and Shakur is not going to break character. You have to make him uncomfortable. De Los Santos failed to do that. So De Los Santos is the one who fought a bad fight. De Los Santos is the one that had a bad performance. But yet De Los Santos is the one on the mic talking about he's the people's champ. The people know who really won, this and that. That tells me that this guy has not learned. That tells me that this guy has not learned. And next time he goes in the ring with another elite fighter, he's getting his ass whooped. He doesn't think. He's not thinking. He doesn't have real accountability. He doesn't have self-awareness. Dude, you fought a bad fight, dude. De Los Santos fought a terrible fight. You had chances to close the distance and do what you're supposed to do. I don't give a damn about the underdog, about the odds. Because from what I seen watching De Los Santos, when I went back and watched all his fights, I seen a guy that was extremely confident. I seen a guy that was very athletic, fast hands, hit hard, and punched in combination. None of that. None of that combination punching last. After a while, he got frustrated and stopped doing what got him there. So, in my opinion, I don't blame Shakur. It was, in my opinion, a good performance because he got out of there unscathed. He got in there with a guy who cracks and was unscathed. No marks, no nothing, fresh out of bed face. So, he did good, in my opinion. It's De Los Santos who I give the bad grade to. Not because I lost my money on his ass, but because he did not actually bring the fight to Shakur. It was all on De Los Santos. That's my hot take.